So, our textbooks that we have are, hopefully you got these and are enjoying those. We'll be using those throughout the course, so exciting there. Now, the purpose of these videos is a chance for us to kind of begin to have a pseudo face-to-face conversation and for me to provide an opportunity to help facilitate further discussion within the material and interaction with it and how to use it. So, for example, in chapter 1 of this text here, what we have is a discussion on what is the difference between coaching and teaching, coaching and mentoring, coaching and counseling, and trying to look at how coaching is unique and what its goal is and what it's all about. And before we start digging into those issues, let me just offer some situational insight that might help make this really unpack for you. So check this out. The question I would like to begin to work with is what is needed for change? Exactly what does it take for an individual to begin to make change within their life? Okay, and what we can look at is on a level here, there are 6 basic ways we can see, or 6 basic things that are needed for change to be taking place. And so if a person is going to make change, first they have to have the motivation, meaning they have to want to change. You can't force somebody to change. As awesome as it would be to have a remote control and say, change, it just isn't going to happen. A person has to have that motivation. And then secondly, they have to have the knowledge and understanding necessary to make the change that is about to take place. So if a person were to say, I would like to make a change in my life, I want to learn, I want to play the piano. That's the change I want to make, to have to be able to play the piano. Well, first they have to be motivated to play the piano. And then second, the average person can't just sit down and make music happen. They have to have the knowledge and understanding of what a note is and how notes play and tempo. They have to develop that knowledge and understanding of the piano. And then thirdly, skills. They have to have skill set to be able to do it. And skills is one of those things that you can develop many skills in life. And in all honesty, there are some skills some people just are not going to be able to develop on their own. They'll have to go through intensive tutoring, intensive training, and even then their skills might be greatly limited. Like myself, I cannot play the piano, and I've tried and tried. I've taken lessons. My hands are actually too small, and I just am not able to reach the keys to make some of the notes, and that's all right. But that just shows the level of skills that's going to have to take place. And then fourthly, opportunity. There has to be opportunity of which to actually demonstrate and develop the skills using the knowledge based upon out of the motivation that you have. So, for example, I could say I want to play a piano, but if I don't have a piano, it's going to be really hard for me to practice. If I don't have access to a piano, it's going to be really hard for me to develop the ability to play the piano. And so there needs to be the opportunity to actually start developing the change. And then fifth, there must be support within the system. In other words, if I want to play the piano, my family's kind of got to be on board with me. If they keep on saying, why are you wasting your time with that? Why are you doing? And that type of discouragement and lack of support will actually decrease the ability chances for me to make the change. Okay, so there has to be support within the system. And then lastly, and this is great for whenever you're dealing with personal change, is scriptural truth. Okay, scriptural truth. And this is going to be what will bring about fundamental change, where we become a different person right down to the core of our being. Okay, so those are the 6 things. You need to have the motivation to change, the knowledge and understanding to make the change, the skills to be able to make the change, the opportunity to practice and develop the change, the support to maintain the change, and then for anything as behavioral, moral, ethical, spiritual, psychological, scriptural truth, or principles based upon scriptural truth to be able to help that change really begin to take place on a fundamental level. Now, with that in mind, here's the thing. whenever we are going to be helping somebody or facilitate somebody or guiding somebody or coaching somebody toward making those types of changes in their life, the question is going to come, do they actually have all six? Because there's going to be times where we might run across somebody that doesn't have all six. Maybe they have the motivation. Maybe they have the support. Maybe they have various skills in life that could be applied, but maybe they're lacking in knowledge. Or maybe they're lacking in the skills, or maybe they're lacking in the opportunity. It could be they don't have all the dots to connect. So that brings us then to this final question that is absolutely necessary, which was beginning to be brought about by Tony in this book in the first chapter, and that is this question. How does one discern which approach is most beneficial for the client? A teaching, mentoring type situation, a counseling situation, or a coaching situation? Tony Stoltzfus made the statement that all are valid and neither one is better than the other. They each have their own place and their own goal. So how do we discern if somebody is needing mentoring? How do we discern if a client is needing counseling? Or how do we discern if they're needing coaching? So that is the question for our discussion here for this first week of our empowerment coaching class.